This story is set in the world of high school and follows two undercover cops on a mission that is full of comedy and drama. The movie being discussed is the 2012 cult classic 21 Jump Street, where Schmidt and Jenko's bromance and undercover adventure keep things funny from start to finish. Back in high school, Morton Schmidt was a smart and quiet student. He was a nerd who struggled socially and never had the courage to ask his crush to prom. On the other hand, Greg Jenko was popular, athletic, and well-known in school. However, his grades were very poor, and because of that, he was also removed from prom. This strange situation became the one thing they had in common. 7 years later, both of them meet again at the police academy. Over time, they become friends because they balance each other out. Schmidt helps Jenko with studying, while Jenko pushes Schmidt to improve physically. Eventually, they graduate as partners. However, instead of exciting police work, they are given boring park patrol duty. One day, while on patrol, they notice a group of bikers smoking something suspicious. They decide to check them, and soon, they find illegal drugs. Some bikers escape, but Jenko manages to arrest one of them. They feel proud and celebrate their first arrest. Unfortunately, their happiness does not last long. The biker is released because Jenko forgot to read him his Miranda rights. This mistake makes them look immature in the department. Because of their youthful looks, they are transferred to a special undercover unit called 21 Jump Street, which has been revived in a modern way. Their temporary base is inside a Korean church, where they meet Captain Dixon. He explains their mission clearly. They must go undercover as high school students to stop a new synthetic drug called HFS that is being sold in Schmidt and Jenko's old school. Captain Dixon gives them two strict rules. First, they must not do anything that could get them expelled. Second, they must avoid forming personal relationships with students. While explaining the second rule, he fixes his gaze on Jenko, clearly warning him. They are given new undercover identities as brothers. Schmidt feels nervous about going back to school because his past there was full of struggle and awkward moments. Jenko teases him, but Dixon shuts it down quickly. For the mission, they stay at Schmidt's parents' house, which only adds to the awkwardness. Before their first day, Jenko tries to teach Schmidt how to look cool. He tells him to wear his bag with one strap, act careless, mock people trying too hard, and blend in confidently. But at school, everything feels different. Students are more socially aware and sensitive. Jenko tries to act tough and mocks a student, then punches him without thinking. He quickly realizes the student is gay, and Jenko is accused of being homophobic. They are called into the principal's office, who is already stressed after a recent student overdose. He warns them that one more mistake will get them expelled. Confused, Jenko mixes up their undercover identities. Schmidt ends up in Jenko's classes, while Jenko is stuck in Schmidt's schedule. Jenko struggles in AP chemistry, while Schmidt finds himself in drama class, which suits him surprisingly well. In drama, Schmidt talks to a girl named Molly, who seems smart and helpful. He starts gathering small clues about the candy drug. During their conversation, he notices a phone number written on a desk. Just as the teacher asks him to audition for Peter Pan, Schmidt gets a text from that number and uses it as an excuse to leave. Jenko struggles badly in chemistry. Nothing feels familiar, and things get worse when the teacher announces a surprise test. Distracted, the teacher doesn't focus on teaching, so Jenko guesses answers randomly and somehow feels confident. While checking his paper, the teacher hesitates awkwardly. At that moment, Schmidt texts him urgently. They head to the dealer room, where Eric is sitting and mocking them, saying they look like cops and too old for high school. To test them, Eric demands they take the candy drug. Hesitant at first, they agree to protect the mission. Soon, panic sets in, and they try to flush the drug out, first by vomiting, then by helping each other, which a janitor catches with disgust. Failing, they return to class, pretending nothing happened. While walking, the PE teacher compliments Jenko's muscles, suggesting sports. But because of the identity mix-up, Schmidt is assigned instead. The drug hits. First, they laugh uncontrollably. Then thoughts scatter, and reality makes no sense. When asked if they took drugs, they deny it, and the teacher believes them. Jenko overconfidently writes the number 4 repeatedly in chemistry, while Schmidt unexpectedly shines in drama. Molly notices, and he lands the role of Peter Pan. Chaos erupts in music class, and eventually heavy sleepiness sets in. At a sports event, Schmidt's mistakes impress Eric, confusing the duo. Reporting back to Captain Dixon, they realize acting like students wasn't the mission. They needed the supplier. Jenko sneaks into chemistry again, only to find students playing games, proving they are still far from solving the case. Schmidt slowly starts making friends with the popular kids, and they even offer to help him fit in. He tells Jenko that if he had been born 10 years later, he would have been the coolest kid in school. Because of this, Schmidt begins feeling comfortable and confident. He believes this situation is perfect since he can now sit with cool and popular students without trying too hard. Soon after, both of them make a plan. Schmidt decides he will stay close to the popular crowd, while Jenko will spend time with the smart students. That same evening, Schmidt calls Molly so he can get closer to her. However, Molly's mother answers the phone and starts talking, which makes Schmidt feel awkward and embarrassed. A little later, Jenko joins in and keeps teasing Schmidt while he is still on the call. In the end, Schmidt invites Molly to a party next week. Molly enjoys talking to him, and things seem to be moving in the right direction. Later, Schmidt's parents leave for vacation, which Schmidt had arranged himself. Because of this, both Schmidt and Jenko go shopping and fill carts with supplies for a big party. They celebrate with drinks, and soon their house fills with people. Molly and Eric also arrive at the party. While no one is paying attention, Jenko secretly takes Eric's phone. With help from his new smart friends, he installs spyware on it. Eric clearly tells Schmidt that he does not like Jenko at all. While Jenko and his drunk friends are messing around with the phone, Schmidt is giving a house tour to the guests. Suddenly, a rude guy from another school shows up and starts insulting Eric. The argument quickly turns into a fight over the candy drug. Schmidt steps in to defend Eric, but he gets punched. As soon as Jenko hears about it, he rushes downstairs. Things get out of control and a big fight breaks out. Jenko fights aggressively, while Schmidt watches everything unfold in shock. When the rival group finally loses, Schmidt and Jenko celebrate the win. Jenko quietly slips Eric's phone back into his pocket so no one notices. Everyone starts praising Schmidt for standing up for Eric. However, the room suddenly goes quiet when they realize Schmidt has been stabbed. Schmidt quickly says he is fine and the party continues. Meanwhile, Schmidt's parents are on their way back home. His mother forgets her phone, which delays them slightly. To reduce the pain, Schmidt drinks more alcohol and tries to stay relaxed. He bonds even more with Eric and Molly, and it starts feeling like he has always been part of their group. Soon after, Schmidt's parents arrive and angrily shut down the party. Before leaving, Eric tells Schmidt that this was the best party he has ever been to. He also offers Schmidt a chance to make quick money and tells him to stay ready. Later, the parents scold both Schmidt and Jenko. To release stress, the two go to a shooting range. There, Jenko admits that he tapped Eric's phone. Schmidt does not like this at all because he now considers Eric his friend. Eric later gives Schmidt some candy, which Schmidt secretly hands over to Captain Dixon, pretending the whole batch was sold. As Jenko spends more time with the smart kids, they start doing experiments together, and Jenko begins enjoying it. At the same time, Schmidt's romantic connection with Molly grows stronger. Because of this, Schmidt and Jenko slowly start drifting apart. Schmidt even visits Eric's house, where Molly kisses him. Meanwhile, Jenko and his friends listen to Schmidt and Molly's conversations through the spyware, creating tension between the two partners. Molly tells Schmidt that he should be careful with the candy business because he is a good guy, and she doesn't want him to get into trouble. Then they start talking about the upcoming prom. Molly says she's a little unsure about going, but if a good guy asks her, she might consider it. This gives Schmidt a hint, and even though he remembers his past failures in school, he decides to ask her anyway. Molly agrees, and she gets closer, but Schmidt pushes her away at first. Later, some students ask Schmidt where Jenko is and why he's so different. Schmidt jokingly says Jenko was adopted and a bit dumb, which hurts Jenko because he hears it. Back at their hideout, Jenko is upset with Schmidt, and the other undercover agents tell them the candy has already reached another campus. Captain Dixon is angry when he sees the results. Jenko confesses he put spyware on Eric's phone. Before a school play, Molly says she can only trust Schmidt. Meanwhile, Jenko notices a suspicious pin in Eric's friend's hands during chemistry class and thinks it contains drugs. He calls Schmidt for help. Schmidt promises Molly he will return as soon as possible. They get in a car, but it's clamped because of parking tickets. They take a student learning driver's car instead and follow Eric, noticing him giving the pin to a biker gang, the same gang they caught earlier. Accidentally, they break one biker's bike and drive off, dodging multiple cars. One biker crashes into a gas tank, but nothing explodes. Another hits a truck full of chickens, which does explode. Molly worries Schmidt won't make it to the play on time. When they arrive, Jenko complains that Schmidt is too emotionally involved in the mission, but Schmidt calls him dumb. The play starts, Schmidt shows up late, and an argument erupts on stage because Jenko is angry. The audience thinks it's part of the play, and Schmidt sprays fairy dust. Then Jenko admits he overheard Schmidt and Molly's conversation from the night before. The principal arrives and expels them from school. Dixon is shocked and also fires them from their job. Jenko goes home, realizing he truly thought they were real brothers and would even risk his life for Schmidt. Eric shows up, asking them to help with a candy deal during prom while avoiding the police. They get dressed in fancy suits, take guns for protection, and go on recon. Schmidt finds Molly, tells her he's a cop, and asks her to leave. They follow the supplier, who turns out to be the PE teacher. Jenko's friends collect evidence while new potential buyers, the biker gang, show up. A standoff occurs with guns pointed at everyone. Eric is knocked out, Molly faints from the drug, and they all drop their weapons. Another undercover cop appears and everyone is relieved. Eventually, the gang is defeated when Jenko uses a chemical trick he learned in chemistry class to blow up their limo. Schmidt and Jenko arrest the PE teacher, read him his Miranda rights, and finally complete the mission. They become best friends again, apologize to Molly, and are rehired as agents. Captain Dixon is thrilled and informs them their next assignment will be in college. This is the full story of 21 Jump Street, a perfect mix of comedy, action, and friendship.